Okay, a little update on this thing. I have tried to clean up my wiring a little bit, get it back into where it's wired into my fused and breakered and metered circuit, but still having trouble with it. Now, I do have this dangling here because I was trying to find a resistor solution that worked, and I haven't yet. The way the resistor on this thing works is just silly, and I don't know if it's because it's broken. God, it's still hot. Just trying to set this out of the way. I think it's broken. That's basically what I'm going to say. I think it's broken. It's like right now, we're sitting at 50 volts, and it's actually making 500 watts. It is pushing that towards the grid. That's what that meter over there is reading. This is the only thing that's live, is that inverter. So that's what's coming in off of it. Now, here's the thing, is that we're way under the threshold. The threshold is set. Oh, got it right on film that time. Oh, what I do with my brake. Because it's basically out there freewheeling. Nope, we're gonna hook it back up to the batteries. Okay, so this thing is always putting voltage to the dump load terminals. What do I do in my meter? There's my meter. All right, so let's just demonstrate it. Watch my meter fall. Okay, so it's like right now there's nothing hooked up to it. That's that 5.9 volts. I don't know if there's like a capacitor or something in there. It just holds residual voltage, and that's what it shows at the dump load. If I hook my turbine back up to it, let's swap that over real fast. That went straight to... Man, I had my... Oh, there it is. I need to paint these orange. I'm going to bring it all the way down to a stop. Put my brake in there. And if the thing spools up slowly... No, not slowly enough. I have to sit here and baby it up. If it comes up real slow, it'll grab it and it'll hold it for just a little bit. The issue is that if I hit a gust right down here low, it will jump right up there just like it did just now. Okay. Come on, wind. I might grab it this time. It's moving real slow. It does seem to have clamped onto it a little bit. Okay, and so it'll hold it right here. Let's so right there it says, our voltage sitting at 50 volts. That's what's going to the dump load. I actually put my meter on this up here. I ran this over to one of my meters on the side, and it was pumping almost as much power out as what was going back into the grid. I am convinced that whatever mechanism controls the dump load is shorted out itself. And I don't know how to address that. I've contacted the manufacturer, and they made some suggestions about how to set this menu up, which basically their suggestion was to ignore all of the settings and let it run at its defaults. Another viewer suggested running the settings that I'm currently sitting at, and these settings, whenever it's working, seem to, work really well, but it's still always dumping everything constantly. And the issue that I'm having with it is the same as I have with these things. If I try to run a turbine straight to them, it's not fast enough. So it needs to have some kind of resistance up there. I think that it always needs to be run as something to the resistor. But if it's like right now, what do I do with it? Man, I can't keep up with anything. No, right there. It's right in front of me. No wonder I couldn't find it. If I hook this resistor, if I don't break this resistor by dropping it, we'll go ahead and hook this side up. And the other side I can just set on it. I can get it on hook. All the brackets for this resistor are jacked up, so alright, so we're sitting at 49 volts, 300 watts now. I hooked the resistor up, and it's gonna struggle. I'm actually surprised that it's not just flat out died. The resistor is warming up. Oh, yep, that's whenever our wattage went away. We're going to drop down to 0 volts. And that's what it does. If I hook this back up to my battery bank, that's this one right here. Give it just a second. Then we jump right up there to making 500 watts. It's really not super windy today. It is a 500 watt day. But that's what it's doing. 500 watts. That's what it should be making. If I put it back over here on this inverter, now that, whenever I disconnected it, it jumped up into, the voltage jumped up. And now it's dumping everything into the resistor. Like, just from here, I can feel the heat coming off of that resistor. It's actually starting to glow. I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera. It's like that thing should be bringing it down, but it's not. I can hear the turbine out there. It's just screaming. It's completely unloaded. And it's not doing anything to slow it down. That definitely shows up on camera. Like voltage came down there a little bit, but it came down because the wind went away. It's like right now, this thing should be making a few hundred watts that it should be actually dumping into my batteries or into the grid or something. It should be doing something useful with it. But this inverter, it's just got it going into that resistor. And that resistor really is only sucking up probably a couple hundred watts. And it's just not a big enough resistor to do much more. And it's like that should, I don't know what the recovery voltage is supposed to be. I don't know if this machine is supposed to, you know, make the voltage go all the way back down to 0 before it's willing to start again. It's like we're already down to under battery voltage. I'm gonna put the brake back on it. So now we're back to 0. And because it's got to overpower that resistor, that's what it's going to do right there. No. I think that there's a possibility that with if I run a dedicated dump load parallel to this thing, that'll work. And it's like there's just no chance that this is gonna work this way. Not with it unloading constantly. It really needs to have a resistor capable of dealing with 2,000 watts that'll actually slow that turbine down, and it's got to be able to turn the dump load off. These are the only things that I can see that I can set in here. If there's something that you guys are seeing that lets me turn off this dump load or set it to where it doesn't stay on all the time, please let me know. These are the only settings in this menu. And they're the only settings that I have. That's it. I mean, there's no other. There's nothing else that I can change other than my date and time. So. Anyway, we're still working with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day.